This Equatorial Guinea matter is becoming serious. So, guys, I've been meaning to avoid this whole problem in Equatorial Guinea. I don't want to talk about the scandal against the man who did the 400 women thing. I didn't want to talk about it on this channel. I tried my best not to talk about it. But it's shocking to see that already that the guy who did the 400 women thing is a nephew to the president. And he did the thing with his cousins and his brother's wife. And to think that this man is a nephew to the president of Equatorial Guinea, and his own father, this Equatorial Guinea saga man, his father is the chairman of something Africa, one organization in Africa is their chairman. And the Equatorial Guinea president has been president since 1982, when all of us here were not even born. So he was president before I was born, and he's still president till now. They say he's been president for 42 years, guys. This is no longer funny. It is not funny. Equatorial Guinea, do you people have a constitution? How do your constitution work? What are they? Because I can never ever understand this whole matter. Oh God. Jeez. Are you for real? For 42 years. This matter is strange, oh. Gee. My goodness gracious, Equatorial Guinea, oh. What has happened? What is going on in Equatorial Guinea? What's going on in Equatorial Guinea? This is strange. It's the strangest thing I've ever heard. What? Are you for real? 42 good years. Guys, have you ever been to Equatorial Guinea? Have you ever heard of anything going on or happening in Equatorial Guinea? What's your take on this whole matter? So I saw on a blog, do you know that the Equatorial Guinea has had one president since 1982? That's 42 years ago. And his son is the vice president, Theodore Obiang Nguema Mangu, meaning that this, and the bare names as if they are from partly Cross River. Yes, their names are sounding like that. Theodoro Obiang, in Cross River is Ibiang. Their own is Obiang Nguema Mangwe. And then the Baltazar Ebangs country, he is bearing names that sounds like, they are all related. And somebody said Cameroon too. Yes, because in Cameroon they have their president who I think he's the one that just died. That man had been in governance, or he has been president for the longest. Like, how is their constitution, please? Because somebody is saying that he's praying. Let's read what someone said about Nigeria. He said, Tinubu family came to mind. My question is, if Tinubu decides not to leave after 8 years and wants to remain president, who can stop him? Do you think anyone can? See people responses on the comment section. Somebody said, which kind of thinking be that one? You think Nigeria is Guinea? Make them pack well. Another person said they play. What would Nigerians do? This other person said, don't you know what is called constitution? And that person replied and said, who even tell you what say Tinubu go use 8 years? This other person said them go. They amend constitution. You see, one thing people don't understand is a greedy president can actually want the constitution to be amended to suit him. Already they started doing the amendment. Yes, they started doing amendment. We pray that the senators and the House of Rep members will open their eyes to see, because if they are also greedy, they will accept the amendment so that they will remain in governance. Because if they amend that the president should remain in governance for 20 years, it means automatically the House of Rep members will want their own tool to be adjusted to remain without election. for 20 years. And they'll say, oh, they don't want to, the cost of election is too much, so they want to be making election after every 30 years or after every 50 years. You understand? Though you see one man being in governance forever, then when it is gone, his children will take over. When the children are gone, and you understand, you will now discover that the whole thing that happens in the UK is what they will now be practicing. You see, when I tell you people that we should stop fighting amongst ourselves, we Africans, we should demand accountability from our government, from our politicians. You guys will leave that one to be dragging country for country. That is not our problem. That is not our problem one bit. Do you understand? It's not our problem. The best thing for you to do is to ensure that we go out there and look for what will benefit us as citizens of each country. If it is for us to call our leaders accountable, call them to be accountable, communal, like we come together to do it better for us. If it is, you think by fighting one country to the other will save you, you are on a long thing. Because as far as we are concerned in this country, Nigeria is not your problem. You South Africans and Ghanaians always coming to drag Nigeria. Look inward. Have your government done something palatable for you since they came into power? So now Equatorial Guinea has been in the news for the very wrong things. First, it was a bank's crime in the misappropriation of funds, and it was investigated. In the process of being investigated, the investigative team or investigation team got into his office laptop or office desktop, and saw him in a very unprofessional position with different women, and they saw 400 tapes of things he was doing with his family members and his in-laws. They were doing all of this together. The question now is, they did all of this together and he recorded those things with people's wives. And now they have noticed that they are now talking about how the president, who is his uncle, had been in power for 42 years. 42 years, that's before we were born. That is ridiculous. Seriously ridiculous. Many years ago, we thought, oh, this other man who had died in Zimbabwe was the one that has stayed too long in governance. But we are beginning to see that other people are coming up. I think it's Zimbabwe also. That's Mugabe. Where was Mugabe from? I can't remember. I think it should be Zimbabwe. So at the end of the whole thing, this Equatorial Guinea issue is becoming something else. Should we hold our leaders accountable, or should we continue with the banter between countries? Because that's bad. It's really, really bad. It's really bad. We are supposed to hold our leaders accountable. And this is what Julius Malema has been trying to explain to us, that we should stand and become a people who would be together to hold our leaders accountable, not fighting each other. That will not give us a headway. It's a very shameful thing to see that other African countries are even beginning to consider, oh, what if this person decides to stay forever? Because it's in Africa, it will happen. But in places where system works, it will not happen. And I keep telling you people that separate Nigerians from Tinubu. Tinubu is not Nigerians. Tinubu is not Nigeria. Tinubu is a politician who was elected into power. In as much as some people feel, oh, he wasn't elected, he found himself into the position, fine. But let us assume, let's agree, he was elected because he was sworn in and the gods proved that he won the election. Let us agree, that he was elected. And he's president of Nigeria, and he will go after the years he are assigned to be in power. But we cannot say because Tinubu slapped somebody, it's the whole Nigerians that slapped somebody. And this is why I'm saying hold your leaders accountable and stop fighting African countries, because some of you like to fight, especially South Africans and Ghanaians. They love quarrel past